what's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Good, good. Have a seat, man. Hi, my name's Francis. Today I'll be doing a medium ball fade on Jeff Gloria. Let's do this. All right, so the first step is going to be the first guideline, which is going to be 0 closed on the JRL machine. So because it's a medium fade, we're actually going to keep it right at the temple. Jeff actually doesn't like the hooks, so we're going to just go from the corner where the temple meets and go straight across, but we're going to drop it in the back of the head because he does like it dropped, and we could actually get a longer contrast of the fade. So the next step is I'm going to be using my Andis T liner to bald out the sides, so it'll be easier at the end where I do get my Bronze Series 9 to bald out all the areas where the little hairs are. This will be as clean and as sharp as possible. And what I'm actually doing is I don't want to go where the line I created because that's going to make a new line. So I actually want to keep a finger lower than the line just to play it safe so I don't create a new line. So my next clipper is a JRL machine, and it's the fading clipper where I'm actually going to open the lever, which is a 0.5. So I'm going to get the 0.5 and go against the grain right where the line is, and I'm going to go up in a C-shaped motion and pulling it towards me about a finger, going up and then pulling out all the way through the whole head. So that'll be my next step to take out that line. But the line isn't going to completely be gone. That's going to be the step by step by step. And at the end, I'll be taking the line out. Something very important to know is that if you're actually clipping the hair, it's good to have either a comb, but use the tighter area of the comb to kind of comb the hair down so it pushes all the hair that you cut off the head. Or you can use a brush, either or. Because Jeff's hair is straight, it's better to use a comb just because, you know, the brush isn't going to help taking the hair off. It's actually the comb that's going to do a better job because it is straight. So the next step is getting that next line over. I'm going to start using the same clipper, the JRL fader. Put the one clip on, attach it, and I'm going to close the lever. And then I'm going to attack that second line now that I created. And I'm just going to go up, but I'm going to go off the head. So if you realize everyone's head shape on the side, the parietal ridge, it has a lot of protruding bone sometimes. With Jeff, his protruding bone it's usually in the back side, right where his ear is located. So you don't want to go too far in because that might be poking out as you cut the hair too high. So you want to stay below that and just be aware of that as well. Here we go. So the next step is using your 1.5, attaching it to your JRL fader, clipping it on, and keeping the lever closed. So now you have 1.5. And what you're going to do is you're just going to come off the head now. So you still want to keep that square shape. You don't want to dig into the head. So you don't want to dig into the top because that's going to create it's going to go too far in. So you want to, as you're fading, you want to come out, but pretend there's like an imaginary wall. You don't want to cross that wall and go into the wall. As soon as you cross it, you're going to go too high. On this side. And what's really important is going against the grain. So as you can see on this side, his hair is actually going down this way in a diagonal. So to capture the hair, you want to go against it. So I'm actually using about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 of the points to kind of capture the hair so I could catch it. If I try to use the whole thing, it's going to catch the hairs up here if I put it towards his head. So that's the big mistake. So try using 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the size and how much room you have on the side. All right, looking good. Touch it up. And another really cool technique is at the end of going 1.5 against, you could actually go with the grain. So that smooths out the corners to keep it really flat and smooth on each side. With the corners and on the back, you want to go with the grain. So as you can see on Jeff's, the top of the head, you can see his, the swirl right here, which is your crown. So that's where the natural hair flows. So you got to be aware that How it grows, you want to go with the grain. It's easy to just like, you know, rush and be like, okay, I'm going to cut this part, and then you just cut a whole bunch, like a big chunk, and it's going to make him bald. So he's got to be careful with that. So go with the grain. So you can see on his crown, if you look back, tilt back, yeah, you can see his hair grows this way. I have to go with it. If I went against it, going this way and going, you know, not with the grain, it could also shave off too much hair. All right. That's good. So this is going to be the most technical part where you actually have to build some skill. So getting that first line out is always going to be the most difficult line to take out as a barber. You want to make sure that you take it with precaution and really understand when the clipper is actually touching the scalp, you want to make sure that you're actually touching the line with it. So what I do is I test it first with the corner of the blade. So I'm going to angle the blade, and I'm going to use that corner to touch the line to see if it actually takes it out. And then I'm going to do the next thing where I'm going to keep it flat on, and I'm just going to feel it. This part is more of like a feel. So you actually have to have that hand, you know, and clipper connection. And when you touch the person's scalp and you're actually going to be cutting the hair, you also have to have that connection as well. You can't just go in there and just think you're going to take out the line. I've seen some barbers do that and they go up too high and the line just keeps moving up higher. So be very, very cautious with this and take your time. And if you have really good lighting and natural lighting, make sure you tilt the client towards the best lighting so you could actually turn his head up towards the lighting so it hits so you can see the line more clearly. You could also start a little bit lower to kind of feel it. So you have that hand and clipper connection. And then just work your way up as you get a better feel. And another trick is pulling the skin. Because there's a lot of shadows when the head's like straight on, unless you tilt it this way, another trick is to pull the skin so you can see everything. So now I got more of a rhythm. Now I could keep it flush and just kind of flick at that line. Let's see. Okay. So the second last step for fading is getting the 0.5 clip now. You know, in the beginning we had the 0.5 open. Now we're gonna have the 0.5 guard. And we're gonna slap it on, lock in, and just get that 0 to the 0.5 line. There's gonna be a little bit of a line over there in between. I just wanna capture that and try to take out that line in between. So this would just be like feathering to kind of really take out the hard lines. Perfect. All right. So Jeff's actually gonna be leaving the top of the hair because he likes to dye it and keep it around this length. I'm just gonna freehand it now. I'm actually gonna come and focus, looking from the front straight on to see whatever hair is sticking out. Because his hair is pretty straight, you wanna just capture all those hairs, little straggles sticking out, and just to kind of smooth it out on the corners. I'm basically gonna glide it. So just from the bottom of the clipper, just hover it over. I'm not pushing into the hair. I'm going very, very lightly, and I'm just following the hair flow and just smoothing it out. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. So the last clipper we're going to use is the Barber. It's Bronze Series 9. So this is going to take it completely to skin. So there's going to be no hair left when I touch this bad boy clipper onto the scalp. You're going to see the hair like disappear, like all the little bit of hair left, it's going to come right off with the Bronze Series 9. This is the best tool to bald. So I'm actually going to be touching it with my finger to see if there's stubble. I don't feel any stubble from down here, but as I go up, I can feel a little bit here. So I'm just going to raise it up. So I'll feel it again. Yeah, smooth like a baby's butt. Look at that. It's smooth. Let's take over a little bit. So the last part, I usually just touch up the fade. So I'm actually gonna do a 360 on Jeff. And have a second look on like where I need to touch up. So usually there's like little bits of dark spots where I go in with the 0.5 open and the 0, and I just kind of touch on those little dark spots by using the corner of the machine. So for example, if I'm gonna go higher where I started the 0.5, I'm gonna keep it open to play it safe and just hit the dark spots with the corner of the blade. If I'm gonna start lower where the 0 line is, I'm gonna keep it closed, 0, and I'm just gonna touch base on the first line. That way, if you do it with the 0, and if you go too high, you might make a hole. You might make a hole into the fade. So you wanna stay away from that, and you have to understand what you're doing is the correct way. All right, that should be good. All right, so I'm gonna get my T outliner by Andis, and I'm just gonna really touch on that hairline, keep it as sharp as possible. And that's how you do a medium ball fade. All right. Sick. Yeah, that's fresh. All right, brother. See you next time, bro.